Hey, good morning, neighbors. A few articles in the papers this morning, hard to find, buried somewhere. TEPCO is starting to take fuel out of one of the fuel pools. It was partially destroyed in the event. So, what does that mean? It means those fuel rods that have been sitting in some water that's been undergoing massive treatments. Remember those fuel pools or all that liquid waste out there? This is a part of it. So, because they dumped seawater in those rods, they had to do a lot of chemical remediation to try to get everything back down and out and all the nasties that happened with that seawater. Remember, that's one of the no-nos. We don't even like blowing atomic weapons up underwater because of all of the stuff it creates. Very, very nasty. Um, and yet here we are. So TEPCO is swimming in a fuel pool at Fukushima, trying to fish out some control rods. I'm sorry, not control rods, fuel rods. There's control rods in there too. They get set aside because they get too irradiated. So the stuff gets changed out. That fuel pool's been sitting there. We don't know how much of it was exposed to air. We know little things like cesium, the metal, evaporates. It becomes a gas. About 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So now they're bound compounds inside those rods, so it's a little bit harder than just vaporizing them, but that's what happens. The stuff's going to atmosphere. So what do? Mentioned before, on every crane out there, there's scales. They're going to pick up each fuel bundle and weigh it underwater because you really can't take them out of water. Their radiation goes through the cahoochies. So there they play. Now, it's taken them 8 years to figure out what to do, to figure out how to stabilize as best they can. Remember, none of this is settled and done. It's going to fusion and fission and whatever else for our lifetimes. So now they're moving this around. But the question goes back to how much of this stuff got away, because that is the bottom line to the people in and around the communities, and none of that's been followed up with. So again, the most advanced sciences on the planet, with more computers dedicated to figuring out what that stuff is, where it's going, and why it's going. And we got nothing. Our science has failed. And yet they're selling these reactors. Same reactors, different package. It's like Prince Albert in a can. Still sardines. So that's a little piece of it you see. You see where the current U.S. administration has been selling SMRs through the President's Children's Fund. To foreign nations. They want this stuff proliferated across the planet when they can't control what they've got. Unbelievable hubris of this industry. All this is about money. There's no future planning, long-term planning. This is about money today. These SMRs, it turns out, are going to cost about twice as much to produce electricity as these bastard plants we have now. I don't understand the life cycle sciences that people use, and I think I understand life cycle sciences to some degree. We could have a good debate about it. So this is a morning rant. TEPCO's playing games. Nobody's aware. Check out the air monitoring around the plant. It's still weak as crap, shitty. You can find articles. We put new monitors up. Yeah, where's the data? Where is the data? You bragged about placing monitors on the ocean side to monitor the effluvium that's coming out of the 3 buried reactors, leaching poison onto the planet for the rest of their lives. And you put those detectors out there, and we haven't seen what they do. You never did show us what they did. You just said, oh, we got these cool detectors that do stuff. So that's a little game that goes on up at Hanford. Hanford, some years ago, great articles about, they're using a process in Hanford to remove all the contaminants from the water that they can, right? There's a qualifier there. They can. There's percentages. They're using in situ leach mining technology to try to remove a lot of the nasty stuff from the Hanford site before it leaches out into the Hanford River, because pollution, right? And the pollution leaks it out and it accumulates somewhere and then we eat it. Life cycle things. Biological uptake, biological pathways inside the body change the time frames about all of the things we're talking about. So, man. Oh well, 6 minutes. This is just the fuel pools. This is how many different tangents you can get set off speaking to the fuel pools and what's in the fuel pools. Now, there is another interesting fact. Almost everything in a fuel pool is a higher plutonium and nasty element content than what was in the reactors. That's why the fuel has to come out of the reactors. Those things change. Gotta stop. Good day. Our president is a bag of shit.